A guy, I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is. Fuck that, Vlad. Let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No.
No? You think 50?
No.
Lil Meech?
No.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would lead to. And if he was a real friend to Meech.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better shut up. I will buy your masters.
Ricky Rose, the time has come. Meech home. February 13th, get your tickets right now, it's going down. We know Florida gonna be there, Miami gonna be there. The legend himself gonna be in the building, making history. Meech, who else coming?
The whole nation, Detroit, St. Louis, California, everybody. Atlanta, Georgia, ATL, stand up.
Woo. We're gonna make history. Get your tickets right now.
Rick Ross just flipped the script and used Big Meech like a pawn in what's being called a $120 million hustle. Now 50 Cent is out here roasting the whole situation like it's comedy night. The wildest part is the streets had been whispering this scam was bound to happen. Everybody could see it from a mile away. Everybody except Meech himself. Ross came through dangling promises, flashing movie contracts, dropping talks of massive projects, and selling dreams like candy. When the smoke cleared, Meech and his son were left standing there empty-handed, looking broke, while Ross was still shining. Still eating, lounging in luxury mansions like nothing ever happened.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino, it's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it. I'm just talking,
After Big Meech walked out of prison last October, the city buzzed heavy. People thought the legend's real comeback was finally loading, that he was about to take the streets back by storm. Everyone expected a major move, a statement. Then, out of nowhere, Rick Ross popped up talking reckless, promising $120 million films. Mega projects, fat deals, and all that noise. On paper, it looked like Meech was finally about to eat good off his own legacy. Finally cash in on the empire he built with blood, sweat, and years of hustle. The blueprint looked perfect. The stage was set. But when the smoke cleared, nothing came through. Not even crumbs.
But when you take Lil Meech and you put him in acting school, you take him from Detroit. I remember him rapping when he was rapping and nobody was helping him from what I seen. Cause I remember when Lil Meech was rapping. Nobody helped him, and then 50 put him in acting school, kept it on the low, and he made all this money.
Ross didn't deliver a single thing he promised. Instead, he used the Meech brand like a shiny prop, flexing it in his ongoing battle against his longtime rival, 50 Cent, trying to make himself look bigger than he really was, but the streets weren't fooled. Folks had been side-eyeing Ross from day one, whispering that all those promises were just clout chasing. Because everybody already knew who was putting in the real work behind the scenes. 50, he's the one who invested real money into the BMF show, paid for Lil Meech's acting classes, and opened real doors that actually gave the kid a career. Meanwhile, Ross came with nothing but empty hype and a temporary PR boost. Still, Meech leaned toward Ross, ignoring the man who truly held him down, and that rubbed insiders the wrong way. Tony Yayo even called it straight, saying 50 had been riding with Lil Meech from the jump. No sugarcoating, no fronting, just facts. Now the latest word on the streets is that Meech is feeling the pressure. Frustrated, pockets looking shaky, and slowly realizing Ross linked up with him for one reason only, to keep firing shots at 50 Cent. It wasn't about loyalty, it wasn't about respect, it was about stirring the pot and keeping the feud alive. And now the optics got Meech looking more like a pawn than a king. Instead of leveling up and reclaiming his throne, he's stuck in the middle of somebody else's personal war. That's when 50 Cent decided he was done being quiet. From his own troll playbook, 50 fired a shot saying Ross told Lil Meech to hand over his father's address so he could send some Wingstop wings. But that jab wasn't just comedy. It was a statement. 50 was basically telling the world Ross wasn't feeding Meech anything of value, just scraps dressed up as flavor. And the joke stung extra hard because it mirrored reality a little too closely.
Bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too. What you asking for my sympathy for? You be alright.
Then things escalated. 50 doubled down, dropping wild claims about Lil Meech's personal struggles. He said he had to personally send the kid to rehab, that Meech was showing up on set intoxicated, even throwing up during a weapons test, unable to keep himself together. Then came the story about the whippets found in his truck. 50 laughed at his own confusion, admitting he had to Google what whippets even were. That's when 50 flipped the narrative, painting himself as the responsible one, the grown man in the room, stepping in to keep Lil Meech from crashing out, while Ross and Big Meech were hyping up the same habits tearing him down. Yet, after all of that, Lil Meech still leaned toward Ross, spotted parting with him in clubs like none of 50's words mattered.
I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is. That Vlad, let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No,
No? You think 50?
no,
Lil Meech.
no.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would lead to. And if he was a real friend to Meech, unless he was looking to get 50 out the way, he would have dealt with Meech in the shadows, because he knows me and this dude who is gonna react if he sees me dealing with this dude that he has business with. And there was a lot of business left to be done, right? Rick Ross, bro, could have done whatever he was gonna do in the shadows if he really honored and respected Meech. Trust me, Meech wished none of this was going on.
Now the streets are on fire, roasting the whole Big Meech legacy, saying this so-called alliance with Ross crumbled faster than anybody expected. The respect Meech once carried is now being questioned heavy, with people pointing out how messy the whole link-up looks in hindsight. Then came a voice that shook the room. Michael Rainey Jr., one of 50's own power stars, stepped up bold and said flat out he doesn't feel sorry for Lil Meech or Big Meech because grown men should have seen this play coming from miles away.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me. So I'm doing this for my loved ones and the support of my friends and family.
That clip spread like wildfire. Word is 50 doubled down as soon as he caught wind of it, fully standing behind Rainey's words and stamping the narrative that the whole Meech camp was looking shaky and weak. And truth be told, Ross leaving people hanging isn't a fresh storyline. It's allegedly been part of his playbook for years. Folks bring up how he already pulled the same stunt on his own crew in Canada, dipping out and leaving his boys to get jumped, only to slide back later claiming it was some kind of test of strength, cold move. And that's Ross' MO. People have been saying he's been moving grimy from the very beginning. Then Wack 100 jumped into the conversation, blasting Ross as the real villain behind the curtain. Wack said Ross was never a true friend to Big Meech, just a manipulator who used his name like a pawn to throw shade at 50. He pointed out that if Ross was really about helping, he would have kept it quiet, handled business in silence, and actually built something solid with Meech. Instead, Ross broadcasted everything loud for the cameras, turning it into a circus all about his own shine and clout.
Have you ever seen anybody confront Rick Ross about you?
Not in person, no. Anytime I'm around, he disappears.
But is there any video of anybody like, hey, why are you running around with this dude's
And that
name?
told the whole story loud and clear. Ross was never in it for Meech. He was always in it for himself. Ross already knew the play before he even ran it. He gassed Meech up heavy, talking stacked bread, building empires, throwing around big numbers, all while parading him like a trophy just to boost his own clout. Behind the scenes, Ross was slowly twisting the knife, low-key trying to turn Meech against 50 Cent, the one man who actually had his back from the start. When the smoke cleared, it was all just smoke with no fire, no real substance. Ross went silent on Meech, leaving him dangling with nothing to show for it. The hype disappeared overnight, and suddenly the truth was impossible to ignore. Ross only pushes moves that fattened his own pockets. Meech was no longer part of that plan.
Is there anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him.
Word on the block even says Ross was behind the cancellation of Meech's Welcome Home benefit concert, a move that left people wrongly pointing fingers at 50. But insiders swear the truth is, Ross didn't want Meech to have a successful comeback. He wanted him sidelined, forced to sit in the shadows while Ross played the social media hero. That's not support, that's betrayal. And the fallout hit hard. Instead of rewriting his legend, Meech walked himself into a mess that had folks stop rocking with him altogether. Things only got uglier when Meech tried firing back, calling 50 an internet gangster, claiming all he did was troll behind a phone. But nobody bought into that weak swing. The streets called it out instantly. It was straight up damage control. And by that point, the clowning already stuck to Meech's name.